All right, let's talk about Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos, who I have to say, okay, listen, this was not a perfect day from Bo Nix. I thought it looked pretty good out there. And I know the final box score stuff isn't going to show that. And listen, he had his down moments. I'm not saying he didn't. But I thought he made some nice plays as well. And so let's get into kind of the good and the bad of Bo Nix here against the Los Angeles Chargers, who are one of the top ranked defenses in the league right now. Let's get into it. First, let's start off with the play you see on your screen. This is going to be the biggest negative of the day for Nix. It's a cover two man play, and you see the receiver's route he wants to throw to. Certainly one that can get open. These routes that cut over the middle are definitely, routes that can work. Well, let's see what happens. Nix is going to take the snap right here. He does look in that direction, fires in that direction. Again, 3rd and 8. It's not really that open, but I can kind of understand why he's trying to fit it through a tight window right here. Because if it's intercepted, that's not good. But it is, you're losing the ball either way, I guess. So it only hurts field position. So you can always be a little bit more willing to take a bit more of a chance in a situation like this. The issue is this throw is just going to be off. Watch, it's just a bit high. It's not horrible, right? Horrible result. It gets tipped and intercepted. There was a safety further deep, so you have to know if you throw it a bit too high, that is a risk. At the same time, though, that's a bit of a tough break. It was a catchable ball. I'm not saying it should have been caught. Just like the receiver had a chance at it, just a bit too high. Again, you can criticize him if you want to. I'm not going to criticize him that much. I think it was not an ideal ball placement, but a tough result. Honestly, a huge issue for Denver was just what's happening on this play, which is it's going to be a man coverage concept for the Chargers on a 3rd down and 5. And, okay, Nix has a receiver running a deep shot. It appears as though the safety should cover that up, but he's actually not going to. Nix is going to take the snap. He looks down the field and fires down the field. This is actually Marvin Mims who's running this route. And there is a bit of separation for sure. There is maybe a yard that Mims has on the Chargers defensive back. And while I would say this throw is maybe a touch behind where you would want, it still just isn't able to be complete. And to me, this was a big issue for Denver. And something we thought would maybe be an issue entering the season was they're just not having enough guys get open consistently. At the end of the day, if guys aren't getting open, your quarterback isn't going to look good. And when you have situations like this where your receiver just isn't winning this one-on-one matchup, that's part of the issue. And again, I'm not saying you can't criticize the ball placement a little, but it's, making things difficult on Bo Nix for sure. And that's, I think, the biggest reason why this offense struggled so much, to the point where it got shut out of the first 3 quarters. But going over here, that's not to say there weren't some good Bo Nix plays in this one. So, for example, this play, you see the Chargers are selling as though they could be blitzing right here, but that's actually not what they're going to do. This is a pretty clever play fake here. Instead, they're going to drop back into zone coverage. It still is going to be a blitz, but it's going to be a zone blitz as opposed to a heavy man blitz like what they're set up doing. But for Bo Nix, that route right there, regardless of the coverage, can get open because there's only one Chargers player in the area who could make a play regardless. So you got to make the throw quickly, but definitely it could work. Watch, Nix takes the snap. He sees that there still is a bit of pressure, and he's just going to try and fire it in this direction. Here's the issue. His receiver on this one, Courtland Sutton, hasn't fully turned around yet. So if he's going to make this throw, he has to make sure that that Sutton's able to win this matchup. He has to trust his receiver right here. But that's going to be exactly what he does. Really well-timed and thrown football there by Nix, and they convert a 3rd down and 7. So again, this play is exactly what they like about Bo Nix, why Bo Nix was drafted with the 12th overall pick, right? It's because he can read an offense very quickly and get the ball over there very quickly. That's what you like to see. And then he had some just impressive plays. Like this one, for example, it's a 3rd down and 2. You see the concept on the screen that Denver's going to look towards. That route right there is one that can definitely get open, kind of get into a gap in coverage. Let's see how it works. Nix takes the snap. You see those other 2 routes kind of help spread certain Chargers players out of the area. The Chargers player that tries to pick up Courtland Sutton here is now currently laying on the ground, so that's not ideal. And because of this, Nix is able to make, again, well-timed throw, perfectly accurate. Sutton's able to make the catch and run after the catch, so those guys certainly have good chemistry. They're able to make that play work. So, yeah, there were definitely plays like this. Even though it was, again, the box score wasn't great, the just game score wasn't great, there were some plays throughout that Nix was able to make. This one being another one. I mean, his athleticism is a real benefit towards his game, and you're seeing it here, the way he can move. We're first, watch this edge rusher right there for the Chargers. Bo Nix is going to take the snap and immediately be in trouble. There is pressure, not just pressure. I mean, he's getting sacked right here. He is in the act of getting sacked right here. But then watch what happens. Somehow he gets out of this. He's going to look down the field, and eventually decide scrambling's the move. And as of right here, I mean, again, he's still looking down the field, seeing if there is an opportunity to throw. Doesn't like it. So instead makes another move on a Chargers player and actually picks up over 15 yards on that play. I mean, that's really good stuff there by Bo Nix to be able to make something like that work. Again, you can't rely on this happening, but it's certainly something that is cool to see if you're a Broncos fan when it does happen. Going over here, I touched on the issue earlier, but I think this play actually is a better example of showing really kind of what we saw a lot when watching this game. This is a 2nd down and 9 situation, and it's zone coverage that the Chargers are in. Nix takes the snap. He's going to run a play action, looks down the field, and doesn't love what he sees. Does a good job of kind of navigating the pocket, gives himself a little bit of extra time. We are 5 seconds into the play right now, which is usually twice as long as you get to make a throw, so already pretty good situation here time-wise, but he's going to try and figure out if he can get someone else open. Maybe scramble outside the pocket, but watch his eyes. Watch how when he starts moving, he's still looking down the field, makes the move, looks down the field again. I mean, he wants to throw the ball down the field. He's not just looking to run, but there still isn't anything open. We are now 10 seconds into this play, and this Chargers secondary is still winning, which is credit to the Chargers secondary, but also Denver needs someone to win here. Nix does the right thing, just steps out of bounds. They, have a no gain on that one, but sometimes that's the best play you can have. Nix also does a good job at not making dumb plays. He's not afraid to take the L on certain plays for sure. But going over here, like I said, there were some good plays in this one. This is a 4th down and 2, huge play in the football game. I mean, again, okay, the Chargers won this one pretty handedly, but it did get to 23-16, and the Broncos, had an opportunity to, if they hit on the onside kick, they could have had a chance. Now, usually you don't hit the onside kick, but still, they were able to have a chance in a game that felt like they had no chance for a while, and this play was kind of a big thing that got them back in it. First, you see how it's zone coverage that the Chargers are in. That's important to note. Because when Nix takes a snap, he's going to start to step up in the pocket, but because it's zone coverage, you see Nix is stepping up, but those two players are paying attention and moving in because they're looking at the quarterback, which is what you do in zone coverage. They're not going to let Bo Nix rush for this 1st down on a 4th down and 2. They're just not. But because of this, Nix looks at that Broncos player who's past them and says, okay, well, then why don't I just do the smart thing here? Watch him step up, flip it over there, and they're able to pick up a big gain on that one. So really good stuff there by Bo Nix to make that play work, and nearly got a touchdown, led to a touchdown. I mean, that's good stuff by Bo Nix. So again, to me, there's far more positives than negatives here for Bo Nix. Even in a bad situation, he didn't make the bad situation worse. He was patient, and he made the plays when he could. It wasn't enough in this game. Like, it is what it is. A quarterback can only do so much. And like I said, I'm not saying he was perfect in this one, but I actually came away pretty impressed with Bo Nix in this one. But yeah, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from ya. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.